The decision to end a marriage is rarely, if ever, simple. It's a whirlwind of raw emotions, impossible choices, and complex considerations that shatter lives, sometimes for the better, but often with unforeseen consequences. Yet, for many women, as the dust settles and time offers a brutal clarity, a startling and painful truth emerges, a deep sense of regret. Not for ending a bad situation, but for leaving their marriage too soon. This isn't about judgment. It's about understanding the raw, human reflections that surface when women look back and wonder if they truly made the right call. It's a journey into hindsight's painful wisdom beyond the typical narratives of liberation. The haunting echoes, not exhausting every option. One of the most profound regrets stems from the agonizing feeling that not every possible avenue for reconciliation or improvement was truly explored. It's the haunting echo of what if. Imagine the moments wishing they had insisted on more intensive couples therapy, not just a few sessions, viewing it as a proactive solution rather than a last, desperate resort. Or perhaps the lingering thought of trying specific communication strategies they'd learned about too late, like truly mastering active listening or calmly articulating needs instead of resorting to frustration. Sometimes it's the overlooked power of individual counseling. Did they genuinely address their own patterns, attachment styles, past traumas, or insecurities that subtly fueled marital friction? The feeling that impatience, or simply being utterly overwhelmed, led to giving up prematurely can be crushing. The core question, did I truly leave no stone unturned before dismantling my family, can echo through years, leaving a permanent mark. But even if you felt you exhausted every avenue, the emotional landscape after separation can be a brutal shock. The uncharted waters, underestimating the emotional aftermath even when fully convinced a split is necessary, the emotional toll of divorce can hit like a tidal wave, far more profound, prolonged, and often unpredictable than ever anticipated. Many women find themselves regretting not being adequately prepared for the sheer waves of grief that wash over them. It's not just grief for the spouse, but for the lost future, the shared dreams, and the very identity as a married person. Then comes the crushing loneliness, even after escaping conflict, and the vacuum left by a constant, familiar presence. This journey often plunges them into a profound identity crisis. Who am I now? Outside of this marital role, what's my purpose? The often fantasized image of a happier and burdened life post-divorce might not immediately materialize. Instead, they face a stark sense of disillusionment, realizing the grass is greener vision was a mirage. This isn't about blaming divorce itself, but about the profound regret of being utterly unprepared for the sheer depth and unexpected turns of the emotional healing journey they were embarking upon. And for those with children, the emotional weight isn't just about their own feelings, but the ripple effect on innocent lives. The unbearable weight, the impact on children for mothers, this is often the most agonizing and persistent regret. A primary, gut-wrenching source of pain revolves around the unavoidable impact of the divorce on their children. They might be consumed by worrying about their children's behavioral changes, acting out, withdrawing, developing anxieties, or grappling with their unspoken sadness, feelings of abandonment, or instability. The daily, often frustrating challenges of co-parenting become a constant source of stress, navigating differing rules, conflicting schedules, hostile exchanges, and seeing their children torn between two homes, two sets of loyalties. The profound question haunts them, could I have endured for their sake? Even if the marriage was deeply flawed, was it less damaging than the trauma of the split? This highlights the raw, primal protective instinct that fuels this particular regret, a constant ache that often outweighs many other personal considerations. This isn't just a concern, it's a heavy weight carried long after the papers are signed, a constant reminder of the fractured family unit. Beyond the emotional and parental tolls, the practical, cold realities can be a stark awakening, especially financially. The shattered comfort zone, financial instability, and lifestyle changes beyond the emotional whirlwind. The financial realities of post-divorce life can be starkly different and brutally unexpected. A significant regret can arise when women face a drastic downgrade in lifestyle, far beyond what they anticipated. This might mean the painful necessity of selling the family home, moving to a smaller apartment in a less desirable neighborhood, cutting back drastically on necessities, or even sacrificing their children's beloved activities. They face the relentless stress of single-income living, suddenly shouldering all household expenses alone. The division of assets, which might have seemed equitable on paper, often translates into a daily, grinding struggle that was simply not fully anticipated. This incredibly practical regret compounds existing emotional difficulties, turning the dream of freedom into a relentless financial uphill battle. The loss of financial security or the unforeseen hardships can make life a constant, precarious balancing act. With distance comes not just financial clarity, but sometimes a painful, personal accountability. Hindsight's mirror, realizing their own role more clearly with the passage of time and the invaluable gift of distance, a painful, yet often crucial, realization can emerge, a clearer understanding of one's own contributions to the marital breakdown. This introspection goes beyond simple behaviors. It's asking, did I truly communicate my needs effectively, or did I expect my partner to read my mind? Was I too critical or too defensive, shutting down attempts at connection? Did I carry unresolved issues from my own past, traumas, insecurities, unhealthy patterns directly into this marriage, unknowingly sabotaging it? This isn't about corrosive self-blame, but a mature, often heartbreaking acknowledgement that any relationship, even a failing one, is a two-way street. The poignant wish to have gained this crucial self-awareness during the marriage, potentially altering its trajectory, can become a deep source of regret. This powerful introspection often reshapes how they view all future relationships, for better or worse. Even amidst the turmoil, a surprising yearning can surface for what was lost. The lingering comfort, missing the familiarity and history even after escaping the constant conflict or deep unhappiness. Many women find themselves unexpectedly missing the companionship and shared history with their former spouse. There's a profound loss of everyday comfort, the unique shorthand developed over years, the person who understood all their past jokes or obscure references without explanation. It's the void created by the absence of a constant, familiar presence, particularly in mundane moments, quiet evenings, or during difficult times when they once instinctively turned to their partner. Acknowledge that even when the bad overshadowed the good, there were still good parts, shared memories of joy, inside jokes that only they understood, a sense of shared identity and purpose that are now irrevocably gone. This quiet sense of loss, however small or contradictory to the reasons for leaving, can significantly contribute to lingering regret, a bittersweet ache for what was. But was the decision even truly hers alone, or were other voices at play? The outside influence, societal or family pressure sometimes, the weighty decision to leave a marriage can be subtly or even overtly influenced by external pressures from friends, family, or the powerful grip of societal expectations. Think of the subtle nudges from well-meaning friends, "You deserve better," or the overt demands from family, "Why are you still with him? He's clearly not right for you." Then there's the pervasive societal narrative of the strong, independent woman, which can subtly make enduring a flawed marriage feel weak or antiquated. A deep regret can form when a woman realizes she allowed these outside voices to overshadow her own inner wisdom or even her partner's genuine potential for change. She may feel she rushed the decision, pushed by others' expectations of what her life should look like, rather than what truly felt right for her. The painful realization that the impetus to leave came more from external validation or perceived societal norms than from her own deep internal conviction can be a powerful source of regret, making her question her agency in such a critical life choice. And often, the glittering promise of a new, free life proves to be nothing more than a mirage. The mirage, idealizing single life or new relationships, the age-old adage often proves brutally true: the grass isn't always greener. For some, the stark reality of single life or new relationships simply doesn't match the idealized expectations held before the divorce. They encounter the crushing loneliness after the initial thrill of freedom fades, or navigate the often brutal and complicated landscape of modern dating. They quickly learn that new partners inevitably arrive with their own sets of issues, baggage, and imperfections, often different but not necessarily better than the old. The crushing regret sets in when they realize they idealized the freedom of being single, only to find it far more isolating, more complicated, or simply less fulfilling than anticipated. This jarring comparison is agonizing. Were the problems in the marriage truly as insurmountable as they seemed, especially when stacked against the current, often unexpected, difficulties? This realization can deeply spark feelings of having made a hasty and ill-considered decision. Regret is an intensely complex emotion, often inextricably intertwined with the painful wisdom gained only from hindsight. For women who grapple with the feeling of having ended their marriage prematurely, these reflections are not necessarily a definitive sign that the wrong decision was made. Instead, they represent a profound acknowledgement of the immense pain, loss, and the often unfulfilled hopes involved in dissolving a lifelong commitment. It highlights the true gravity of such a life-altering choice. This topic, of course, sparks deep emotions and often invokes powerful, sometimes conflicting, beliefs. As some deeply held views express, traditional vows like "until death do us part" carry immense spiritual and moral weight, guiding many through the hardest times, emphasizing faith and resilience as the ultimate foundation. This perspective often frames marriage as a sacred, unbreakable covenant where personal desires might be seen as secondary to divine or traditional principles. However, other lived realities and counter-arguments exist. Some might reflect on relationships that were never truly a man and wife relationship, perhaps just based on swinging or superficiality. Others confront the painful truth that God allowed death of people who never wanted to die, or that certain relationships are so toxic that staying would be more damaging than leaving, regardless of vows. The blunt observation that that's not happening anymore, the vow has changed significantly, speaks to a modern cynicism or a pragmatic adaptation to changing societal norms. These contrasting viewpoints highlight the fundamental tension between traditional ideals and contemporary experiences of love, commitment, and personal well-being. What do you believe? Is regret a sign of a wrong choice, or simply the painful wisdom of hindsight? And how do societal expectations or deeply personal vows truly factor into these life-altering decisions? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below.